Namaskar and welcome to Changemakers. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. Look around you. People, enterprises, businesses on the move. Our aspirations pushing our boundaries. Energy driving our world. But for progress and sustainable development to coexist, what we need is clean and smart energy solutions. And that is what we're talking about today. Our change makers are going back to nature to decipher the secrets of clean energy and its efficient use. Did you know that the aloe vera plant on your balcony can light a bulb, or a pocket-sized device can monitor the electricity consumptions of big buildings and help bring down the power cost? Vast swaths of ocean could be our most sustainable source of clean energy and food in near future. This is not science fiction. This is what our change makers do for living. The road to cleaner and greener future requires path-breaking innovations and out-of-the-box thinking. Our change makers are making important strides in that direction. Aloe E-Cell is striving to make better battery world by eliminating problems related to hazardous batteries. Manufacturing of traditional batteries leaves a significant carbon footprint. Only a handful of batteries are recycled and the rest contaminate our environment if disposed of irresponsibly. Aloe E-Cell has developed the world's first 100% eco-friendly and non-hazardous battery made of aloe vera and a few herbal extracts. These batteries are eco-friendly, they do not cause soil, water or air pollution as no harmful metals like lead and mercury are used. In addition, it is not explosive and is safe for human use as explosive electrolytes like potassium hydroxide are not present. These new age batteries are offered at 10% lesser cost and 1.5 times higher durability. Aloe E-Cell is positioned as economical and for both low and medium drain device users. Founded by Nimisha Verma and Naveen Suman in 2018 in Jaipur, Team Aloe E-Cell is presently working on rechargeable batteries and plan to come up with the first prototype very soon. Our next changemaker, Minion Labs, helps businesses and consumers reduce their electricity cost and improve their productivity by providing real-time device-level electricity consumption insights using a smart energy management solution by leveraging on data and artificial intelligence practices, thus making energy efficient, sustainable and less climate risk. Minion uses patented state-of-the-art machine learning and AI-based edge computing approach to detect energy signatures of individual electrical assets and study patterns of their energy consumption used inside the facility at single point of connect, and also to generate real-time notifications of various events and reports on predictive analytics, enabling the users to save up to 30% of their energy consumption. Minion Labs was founded by Gokul Srinivas in 2017 and is based in Bengaluru. At present, the startup is servicing more than 100 commercial and industrial facilities with its AI, IoT-based energy management solution and saved more than 250,000 kilowatt hours of energy savings collectively, which is equivalent to 712 metric tons of carbon emissions being avoided. Our third changemaker, C6 Energy, is based on the vision of sustainably and ethically harnessing the oceans to build a future for mankind independent of traditional energy sources. Along with a team of experts in engineering, agriculture and biotechnology, C6 Energy was founded by Sri Kumar Suryanarayan, Nelson Vadaseri, Sri Salaja Nori, Soumya Baladiran, looking at the vast oceans to discover solutions in energy, agriculture and food with the goal of building a whole new economy based on oceans. Headquartered in Bengaluru, providing sustainable products derived from seaweeds. These seaweeds are grown and harvested along the coastal belts of India and Indonesia through patented technologies of sea combine and processed through biorefinery platform technologies, agri-products, animal feed, human food, bioplastics and biofuel. C6 Energy envisages seaweed to be the unique raw material that can provide carbon-neutral solutions and alternatives to plastic pollution and energy needs in the country and across the world. Those were some fascinating innovations that hold the key to greener and cleaner future. Let's now meet our change makers and learn more about their work and vision. Let me welcome Nimisha Verma, co-founder Aloe E-Cell, Gokul Srinivas, founder Minion Labs, and Shailaja Nauri, co-founder C6 Energy. We saw your inspiring stories. A warm welcome to Changemakers. Now, India has set an ambitious target as far as clean energy future is concerned, going carbon neutral by 2070. Now, as innovators, entrepreneurs in the field, how do you assess the importance and the urgency of this commitment?
So there is 100% urgency of this clean energy initiative or clean energy related products, because as we all understand that there was no existence of e-waste, but in less than 2 decades it has become the fastest growing waste on earth, and the major part is batteries, which we are using in our daily routine devices. Moreover, when we talk about clean energy, various things comes to our mind. The priorities are solar energy, wind or hydro and various others, but we need to understand that these are also not 100% clean and green. So we need to refer to bio-based products and plant-based products and various other alternatives which are actually clean and green. And we do need to fuel the research and focus on research and development, which is important for this clean energy initiative.
So if you look at Indian context, we are one of the largest consumers of fossil fuel. And we import almost 85% of our fossil fuel requirements from other countries. And for us as a nation, energy independence is a very critical aspect. And the government has set the ball rolling and set up many programs to achieve this in many different ways. I think the recent amendments in National Biofuels Policy and the push towards renewable energy all are in the right direction. And if you understand the fossil fuel derived energy that we are all using today is all carbon is actually resulting in more carbon emissions, right? And we need to actually develop technologies which are carbon neutral or carbon negative in order for us to sustain as a world.
Right. And Gokul, your thoughts on the target that the nation has set for itself and the way in which we are working towards it?
So since I come from an energy efficiency background and the nation has set off like a carbon neutral, so the amount of energy saved equivalent to amount of carbon being avoided. So there's an interesting fact that the Ministry of Power has put forward that about 20% of the overall electricity is being generated in India is being wasted due to commercial and technical reasons. And whatever we are getting to the consumer building, that too we are using very lethargically, and there are equipments which is more than like 5-10 years older, consumes more than what it is required. So the amount of electricity is very it's not sufficient for overall India's requirement. So I would say energy efficiency is more of something the nation has to look apart from along with the clean energy sources as well.
Right. Now, let's talk about your individual enterprises and the work that you do. Nimisha, at Aloe E-Cell, often when we talk about technology advancement, we tend to talk about cases where we're going away from nature. But you went back to nature to find your solution. Tell us, how did you go about it?
So it's an interesting story. I just take you to an overview. So it's like we were actually working on e-waste. So that was the time we realized that e-waste is actually a dreadful problem, I would say. So we were trying, the first thought was, these are so hazardous, we need to find some eco-friendly solution. And when we talk about eco-friendly, the plants, the nature, the greenery automatically comes to our mind. So we actually thought of that why shouldn't we give a chance to these plants and fruits? Because back in our school time, we have studied that you can generate potential from various fruits like potato, orange, vegetables and fruits like potato, orange, etc. So we actually started from there. We tested on various fruits, various vegetables, various roots of plants, various paddy plants, succulent plants, etc. And in our urge of finding an eco-friendly potential, we got to know about aloe vera. So we researched on it, we mixed a lot of herbal constituents in it, and were finally able to make I would say, an aloe vera based battery. Talking about the motivation behind it, of course, when we talk about technology, it has to grow. But technology advancement doesn't mean that it cannot be green. And the real challenge, or I would say the real innovation, lies in green technology, like making a technology green. And I think we try to do our best in that.
Right, and a host of questions really open up when we look at your startup, Nimisha. Can you make bigger batteries using the aloe vera technology? And you gave examples of the wide-scale testing that you did. So, can more vegetables or plants have this capability like aloe vera to be able to use in battery making?
Yes. So, answering your question one by one, yes, of course, we are working on the bigger batteries and we'll be soon unveiling a first prototype for the rechargeable ones. And talking about the other plants and fruits, of course, there are a lot of plants and other type of materials that I would say biomaterials that can be used for generating potential. But what we need to do is to do the right research. And we at Aloe E-Cell are working hard to actually find green potential. And one day, I think we'll be having the Aloe E-Cell state-of-the-art battery research center that we aim to, where we'll be working on various other plants, other fruits and vegetables also.
Right, and yours is an enterprise, Nimisha, which sort of makes technology engineers work alongside farmers who would grow aloe vera. What has been their experience like using aloe vera and battery? The manner in which their earnings have been impacted and the reaction. Usually we know of aloe vera being used for medicinal purposes, but used in battery, how do the farmers who grow it respond to it?
Yes. So, this is one of my favorite questions because I have seen the real smile, the real gleam in the eyes of the farmers, because when they get to know, oh, our aloe vera can generate electricity. Oh, you'll power our house using our aloe vera only. So we said, of course, one day we'll do that also. So farmers are open to this, farmers are ready to sell us aloe vera, and you'll be really happy to know we are getting response from all over the country and of course all over the world, where people are ready to offer their acres of land of aloe vera to us just to research and complete this final product. So of course the farmers are accepting it and they do understand if this product is commercialized soon, of course their income will be increased. And talking about the aloe vera growth and supply, so the demand and supply is not up to the mark till now, because of course everyone, like, we think that aloe vera is used in each and every product, talking about the medicines, the cosmetics, etc. But the real price is still low for the aloe vera farmers, and once we'll be using it in the batteries, of course it will be a good initiative for them and it will be a win-win situation for Aloe E-Cell as well as for the farmers too.
Okay, Gokul, let me come to you. Let's talk about Minion Labs. Your enterprise is showing, as you also quoted earlier, that energy saved is equivalent to energy produced. If you could simplify for us, how are your smart devices able to do that?
Sure. So let's keep the energy aside. If you have a monthly expenditure of maybe 10,000 rupees and you wanted to save that, what will you do? You will list it out, where is my 10,000 is going on? Maybe 500 mobile bill, 500 another for Netflix, and you will list it out and see which one I can reduce it or look for a cheaper alternative. On a similar manner, in a building, we need to list out each and every individual electricity consumption. How much is my TV is consuming? How much is my heater is consuming? Then only we can understand how much each equipment is consuming. Then we can come to a problem statement, whether the equipment is consuming more than what it is required, or is there any electrical fault or any other issue. But in order to get that equipment level data, we need equipment level sensors or meters for, like, that's what been traditionally used. But if you think about any building, there are like more than 50 to 100 equipments being used. So that means 50 to hundreds of meters, sensors is going to be really expensive. And that is not going to stop there. All these meters would generate data, and that requires a dashboard where they can track all these data. So again, there's a OPEX cost. And again, it's not going to stop there. Whatever the dashboard is going to give you, it will give you your air conditioner is turned on in various times and its energy consumption, but it will not tell you how can I reduce it, whether I should have to change the air filter or should I have to rewind my water motor, all of that. So again, the customer or the person doesn't have any idea what to do with this data. So obviously he or she will end up with some energy auditor who can understand this data and give out the technical action points. And again, it's not going to stop there. What are the action points they suggest? We'll have to come and do that. And that requires some service or maintenance fee or even a replacement cost. So if you look at this customer journey, starting from metering cost, then OPEX, professional fees, and then the implementation cost, even though if they could able to save some energy cost, there is no return on investment. So it's like complete loss or loss cost. So this is the problem statement we identified back in when I was in my academic 2014. I came up with this Minion as part of my academic project. So what I did is I just simplified all of these layers into just one plug and play device that is going to get the electricity panel, where if you switch off, the whole building electricity goes off. And we created an intelligence from that single location. It can identify what equipments are being used inside the building. And it's not just detecting these equipments, further understanding the health or monitoring or benchmarking these equipments, finding these problems and giving them the actionable points. Hey, you turned on your air conditioner. That air conditioner has these problems. All you need to do is change the air filter, maybe fill in the gas. And now the customer gets a text notification. All they need to do is just do it. So we had completely filtered out all the filters and made it as a plug-and-play solution.
Right. Gokul, and common sense tells us that a product like yours should be there in sort of every circuit in every household. What has been the response of the customers that you're talking about? And are these only big enterprises, or could individual households also make use of this product?
Currently, we are serving any small to large enterprises, retail shops we had recently gotten into. For individual houses, we are thinking and doing R&D. For large and from small to large enterprises, typically their return on investment is 3 months. One of our successful case study is Fortis Hospital, who had saved 18 lakhs from the 1.5 crore electricity bill. So the return on investment is super fast, just in 1.5 months. So that was the kind of a case study, and we keep building more. Currently, we are serving more than hundreds of commercial and industrial enterprises across India.
That's amazing. Shailaja, if I could come to you and talk about C6 Energy. You call C6 Energy as the ocean operating system. How did you discover that the answers to our most essential needs, whether we talk about energy, food, lies with ocean?
So I think it started when we were just finishing our graduation. We were looking at solutions that are really plaguing the world, like global problems in terms of food, feed, and energy. And most of them are dependent on fossil fuel, like the fuel that we use every day. We are just taking it out of the earth, which has been there for millions of years, right? And the food that we eat today is all powered by fertilizers, which are again manufactured using fossil fuel and energy. And even the feed that goes into animals, or even that gets translated to human beings, all of that is being powered by energy. And that is the weakest link. So we felt if we could try and address the energy problem as a whole and develop solutions which are scalable and sustainable and renewable, I think we would have made a big difference to the society. So that's how our quest started. And we started looking for, because we were all from biotechnology background, we were looking at biomass-based solutions that we could develop. And what we identified as the key problem was the limitation of availability of the biomass at such large scale, which can make an impact, and the cost at which such a biomass could be available. And these are the two problem statements that actually prompted us to go look at solutions out of the box and actually identify oceans as the new frontiers for growing and scaling up plant-based biomass. And that's where our journey started. And over the last 12 years, we've actually developed a lot of technology in-house with our engineering team and our scientists, all of us working together to develop a automated and mechanized way of scaling up seaweed farms on the oceans and also improving the productivity of the growth of the seaweeds. And a lot of proof of concepts have already been laid out, and we are in the stage of scaling these seaweed farms both in India and Indonesia.
Right. And Shailaja, for many of us, the use of the phrase farming and ocean may come across as very new. If you could help us understand, how is farming on ocean different from farming on land?
Yeah, so I think all of us are aware of land-based agriculture, yes, where we plant a certain plant and then we wait for a certain period of time for it to grow and mature, and then we harvest it. So sea agriculture, or ocean agriculture as we call, is also very similar. You plant the raw material, the component that will help the seaweed grow, and you wait for a certain period of time for it to grow, and then you harvest it from the ocean. So for us, seaweeds were really interesting because they were very fast growing. You can actually multiply the seaweed 4 times in a matter of 30 to 45 days. It's one of the fastest growing plant species on Earth, and it can harvest the solar energy in the process. And the way we operate ocean farming is that we take portions of the seaweed that are fast growing and we place them back onto the ocean surface. So these grow like about less than a meter from the surface of the ocean, because that is where the solar energy the sunlight falls and the solar energy is actually reachable. And when we place the seaweed on the surface of the ocean, it can harvest sunlight, carbon dioxide from the air, and all the nutrients from the ocean, and can grow sustainably. So we don't need to give any inputs like in the case of land agriculture as nutrients or fresh water for them to grow. So in that way, it's completely renewable and sustainable, and it can be scalable because ocean surface, we have 70% of our Earth's surface is ocean water, right? So there is a plenty of possibility for us to utilize a specific portion of ocean surface to grow seaweeds at large scale. Right.
The whole process seems very exciting, Shailaja. As you mentioned, it also sort of acts as a carbon sink, if I'm right, So on that front, plays a crucial role. Earlier you mentioned, Shailaja, how our ecosystems are built around fossil fuels, and that is one of the challenge. Now, the biofuel that you produce through the work that you do, how is that effectively able to replace fossil fuels, efficiently able to replace in the ecosystems that we live as of now?
Yeah. So we've actually identified a very new process and worked on developing proof of concept with our seaweed. So the process is called hydrothermal liquefaction. So this process uses very high temperature and pressure in the presence of a very specific catalyst to turn seaweed into biocrude. So this crude oil that is produced has really high energy density, that is more than 30 megajoules per kg, which is in the vicinity of the crude oil that you get from the earth. And we are able to distill it and use it and burn it like the way crude oil does. So what we foresee and believe in the future is that we are able to grow seaweed at a very large scale and employ the catalytic hydrothermal liquefaction technologies to actually convert seaweed into crude oil directly, which can be plug and play for all of the refineries that are existing today. So we don't need to make any infrastructural changes for it to actually get commercialized. The main limitations, however, is the scale at which it can be done and the cost at which it can be done. So these are 2 problems that we are working on, both in the cultivation aspects as well as in the processing aspects, to make seaweed biofuel a reality in the next 3 to 5 years.
Right. And as we come to the conclusion of this conversation, the remarkable work that your enterprises are doing in the area of clean energy and energy solutions, in the near future, what are the milestones that you'd like to see, not just for your enterprise, but for the nation as a whole? Gokul, if I can come to you for your thoughts.
So there are 2 aspects. One is like enterprise level, and there is one like as part of the social cost that we are on energy efficiency. All I require is like to install or deploy 10,000 Minion devices and or maybe 10,000 buildings as a milestone in next couple of years, that's gonna save 32 billion kilowatt hours of electricity cost. So this number we came up with the last few hundred buildings that we work, and what is the average electricity that we could able to save per building. So with that, we came up with this 10,000 numbers, and that potential that we could able to save for India in terms of electricity savings. So that again, 32 billion kilowatt hour, if you look at the carbon footprint, so that would be like approx 8% of the India's COP26 promise that was made by Shri Narendra Modi last year.
Right. Shailaja, your thoughts as India marches towards a future of clean and green energy. What are the priorities, according to you, that should be focused upon?
I think specifically in the Indian context, government has already put out plans to improve or increase the seaweed cultivation to 1 million tons in India. So I think that is definitely an area where we as an organization are also contributing and working actively with the government. And for us, demonstrating scalable seaweed farms is definitely a very interesting and exciting proposition in the next 3 to 5 years. Yeah.
Right. Nimisha, your thoughts?
I mean, we are focused on batteries, so of course, like that. Instead of using the hazardous batteries, I mean, we really want to replace the hazardous batteries, be it primary or secondary, with the plant-based batteries. And secondly, I would really wish to have more women entrepreneurs in energy, because right till now, if we talk about female entrepreneurship, it was mostly about sewing, cooking, having handicraft items, etc. But now with the change in the time, women are interested in this, and women are given the right to actually make decisions and are there in the policy making authority. So I would really want females to be in this clean energy domain, because it is very important to have females in the clean energy, because they are more understanding and more organized. And when we talk about achieving a particular mission, I think females are also good at it.
Right. On that note, thank you very much, Nimisha, Gokul, Shailaja, for joining us in this conversation, for the amazing work that your enterprises are doing. All the very best to your respective teams.
Thank you so much.
It was great interacting with the Changemakers. We hope that these stories inspire you to look for solutions that are cleaner, greener for our collective future. Till we meet again. Namaskar.